Hello everybody, welcome back to the video. Today I haven't done one in quite some time and I want to jump straight into the video today and talk about the uranium sector. I've seen a lot of people over on Twitter, or more commonly known now as X. Everyone is talking about the uranium space right now. We're seeing a lot of traders, hedge fund managers even mention it. And I'm just starting to see a lot more articles in general about the topic. So, and we can also see right now it's currently breaking out of this, bullish consolidation that we've been forming for essentially over the last 2 years. So we've broken to the upside and we're currently well and truly up like over 30% from the breakout point. It broke out at around $22, as you guys can see right here. I'll just draw the arrow in. Once it broke out down here, you guys can see we've had an excellent, nice little push up as of late. So I want to talk about two things that I think could happen in the short term. So in the very, very short term, when we look right down into the daily time frame here, you guys can see we had a pretty nasty candlestick on the daily time frame. Some of you would know this is a topping tail candlestick. So 7 out of 10 times this usually does result in some type of, downward move or some type of short-term reversal in the markets. So potentially we could even fall around 4% to close this gap down here at around $25, $25.50. So, or potentially we could even fall back to this longer term support. As you guys can see, we had some nice pivot touches, almost touched it here, and then we broke through it, and then we come back, acted as support before finally, getting this pretty overextended move. So even when I look on so let's just throw in the stochastic RSI and the relative strength index here. So as you guys can see on the daily time frame, it is up in the overbought territory. Now I want to show you over on the weekly time frame as well. Look at this. So we're right banging up against the door at around 72, almost 73 as we speak. And I just want to put in this trend line here because I thought this was quite interesting. So have a look at this trend line going all the way back to January of 2021. So over 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, because we're almost in January, we're coming to the later part of this year as we speak. Now you guys can see this trend line here on the RSI. You can see it kept making consecutive lower highs. So the trend line is down sloping. The price thus was increasing still, but you had that down sloping trend line on the RSI. So that is a bearish divergence until finally you broke out here. It did fall under it once again, finding support before finally getting this move. So it's just something to keep an eye on. Potentially in the short term, we could even tag this trend line up here. I'll just remove these two as it is getting pretty squishy. So we could potentially come up to around $28. As you guys can see, that was a key pivot level before finally dropping. So, I do think in the short term, however, this level here on the daily time frame, that one candlestick alone, that to me, it has marked some type of pivot top. Not only that, you had a lot of volume coming in down here. As you guys can see, I will just put an arrow to these two large buy orders right here. So to me, I do think retail brought this top here. I do think you are going to get some sellers coming in here, potentially even institutions dumping into this market, taking some profits off the table because it has had a large move, especially just over like the last, 2 weeks of trading, right? So pretty good move over the last 2 weeks alone. And a lot of people are now buying this top, right? You didn't see no big buy orders down here. You've seen a big dump right down here, and you've seen another person taking profit here. You did see a nice buy down here, but this dwarfs all of these previous days, right? Even dwarfing the sell order way back here in February of this year. So a lot of URA ETF traded hands over the last 2 days alone. It dwarfs all of the volume going back essentially in this entire year, right? So 9+ months of trading on the daily time frame, a large order. So that was around 6.5 million shares, and the last day, so Friday, was over 4.4 million shares. So that's over like 10 million shares were traded over the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday. So I do think, you know, next week, potentially it could be 2 weeks, maybe even a month max, I would say, you get some type of pullback before continuing to move up, right? I am not long-term bearish on uranium. I just think that there is some type of short-term move in the very short term that could result with some type of short-term reversal or slight little pullback here, right? Potentially just close that gap. You also have a gap down here, you know, and then you're talking about coming into support as it has acted as resistance and it flipped into support. So potentially you could have one more touch. To me, you know, some people would say it might come down to this trend line, right? So when you had this wedge, it could come down to here potentially, but when I look at it, it was consolidating above that breakout trend line. As you guys can see, you know, essentially one could say it was forming a bull flag before we had that very nice continuation pattern, right? So to me, I don't think it's going to go down to the low 20s here. I do think you are going to, you know, fall somewhere to around that, you know, $25 range from currently where we're sitting. You know, we had that pivot high at around $27. So it's just something to keep an eye on, guys. I hope you enjoyed this short little video, you know, little bit of TA there for you guys. And, you know, I haven't made a video in quite some time and I just wanted to talk about this sector because I don't want people to fall into the trap where they go long right here after it's broken out, had a massive move, right? We're talking over 30% from this breakout. I'll just grab my measurement tool. You know, it's up around 25%. So to me, you do not want to be the buyer up here, guys. You know, retail are buying in. I can show you the volume. A lot of, you know, people are trading hands right now with the shares on this ETF. So just keep in mind, I do think a slight little pullback before you have, you know, some type of consolidation before resulting in your next move higher, you know, and you're going to try to attack this $28 level. So if we just do a quick little path, sorry to, you know, drag on the video here, right? You could, you know, result in something like this before maybe getting some type of little wedge. And then, you know, you get your breakout up to this trend line and then maybe some more consolidation before finally, you know, you're going to retest these highs way up here, right? So as you guys can see, this here was your high that marked the top before all of this consolidation that lasted well and truly over 2 years. You know, so just something to keep an eye out. You know, I don't know if it's going to pan out exactly like I just drew in here, but that's what I think could happen in the short term. You know, some type of pullback here before resulting, you know, higher and attacking some of these higher levels. So anyway, guys, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by year end. So please make that possible. Make sure you click that subscribe button and I'll see you guys in the very next video. As always, GameX out. Peace.